Hi, welcome to another episode of Bill Selak Talks. My name is Bill Selak. This is me talking. And I'm talking on episode 101. Look at us, continuing on with the triple digits. So recording this quietly in my car while waiting for my pizzas to be ready. And the car seems a fitting place to record because this episode is about construction. And my goodness, are deadlines in construction different than deadlines in education? There is a roundabout very close to where I live. And on either side of this roundabout is not great with mileage. And I walk it because the road's not open yet, which is the point. Maybe a quarter mile in either direction. So it's maybe half a mile total with an intersection on either side and the roundabout in the middle. Can we have a quick aside about roundabout? I still, to this day, think of, wow, what was the navigation? Was it like TomTom? Do you remember when you would buy like a standalone navigation and Darth Vader was a voice you could select, and the whole bit of the episode was Darth Vader mispronouncing roundabout? And this might have been right when I was working in a recording studio. So it was deeply hilarious because it's all about like the audio engineer on one side of the glass in front of the fancy mixer and then Darth Vader behind the microphone in the studio. And Darth Vader is doing, I'm not going to do the voice the whole time, in a quarter mile, take the second exit at the roundabout. But he kept saying roundabout. So he'd say at the roundabout. Great job, Darth Vader. Can you it's roundabout. That's what I said. At the roundabout, turn. You said it. Whenever I hear roundabout, I always think of Darth Vader and the roundabout. It is quite hilarious. Just pause me and go YouTube it for a while. It's fantastic. You need the visuals, I think, to really capture the essence of it. So I think I might not drop in the audio version of it, although I might, but probably not. So roundabout is made. Roundabout near my house has existed for most of this school year. So like you, if you're an educator, I think about my life in terms of school years. So I think since August, the roundabout has been working. And half of the road has been up also this school year. But the part that I need to get to school continues to be closed. And I thought that this project was going to be done a year ago, December. So we're right now, December 23. I think they started it June 22 and said, a 6-month or 7-month project, June 22, finishing December 22. I was like, sweet. When we come back from winter break, such an educator, aren't I? Right? In terms of breaks and school year. When we come back in January 23, the road will be working and we're all set. No, super no. The road was not ready. And so took bets with the kids, right? Kids are in the back seat and we're driving and figure when's it going to be ready, kind of based on when they said it would be done. And I was like, oh, it's not going to be done now. And they kept adding months to it. And at some point the signage changed to June 23. And I was like, oh, well that at least works with kind of the school year. This will be ready by, the last day of school. Maybe it'll be on the last day of school and it'll be just in time for, the last day of school, kids. We get to drive down the new road, the quarter mile strip. That means we don't have to go an additional quarter mile over and then cut back the other way, all through residential stop signs. This road is going to be a win for us. And clearly is a bigger part of my life than I thought it would be. Any guesses what happened in June of 23, which is now 6 months ago? Road is not done. Not the road I need. The roundabout works, but I still have to do the go past it, over, come back, and then go. Still not ready. We're now middle of December 2023, a now full year past when it was supposed to be done, still not ready. So I'm wondering, will it be done like by the end of this school year? I don't know. It looks like it's completely done, but it's not open yet. And inevitably, I start thinking about education and deadlines. And because so many of the signed deadlines on street signs had it lined up with like school, like end of semester 1 or end of school year, I was like, I wonder if, thinking about my own kids learning as they're in the back seat and I'm driving, what kind of things are on their plates? What kinds of things are on their teachers' plates that they have to have done by June 1st, 23, before they move from grade 5 to grade 6? What things do they have to cover to meet that deadline? And guess what? In education, you're not allowed to move those big deadlines. When is the last day of school? It is the last day of school. And they learned a thing or they didn't. You covered it in the curriculum or you didn't. It's a complete aside that curriculum is completely invented, and for that matter, grades are completely invented. It's all a construct. The fact that 4th graders learn California history, 5th graders learn U.S. history, in California, I should say, California kids in 4th grade. The regions of California and the mission projects, which have other problematic issues. That's not the point of this. Let's focus on the roundabout, the roundabound. Whatever you feel you want to cover or need to cover, or like to get from the beginning to the end of your school year, when that last day of school is there, like that is it. They are done being your students. They are on to the next class, the next grade, the next year. And that's not how a lot of the world works. I mean, particularly with construction. And I'm not trying to like talk bad about construction. That looks like a very not fun job for me. I'd be very bad. Can you picture me for like 5 seconds like building a street? Oh, wow, would I be bad at that in so many ways. So like, I'm grateful we have paved roads and street lights that work and stop signs that exist, and like all of that is exceedingly complicated. But just the simple idea of like, this will be done June 22. Just kidding, it's December 23 and we're still not done. Could you imagine what that would look like if teachers could do that? All right, 4th grader, we didn't quite cover what we needed to cover because it took longer to get through the material. So you're gonna stay in 4th grade till like December. And then in December, we'll start the first day of school in grade 5, only it won't be like August, it'll be December. So just we'll shift all of that over like 5 months. But then you're not going to graduate for like 5 months later. And then like 5th grade starting a little bit later, and they didn't get to like the parts of like your state report. And so we need an extra month for that. So now like 6th grade starts in like January of the following year. Like it's just like you do what you can in the time you have. And depending on the culture of your school, you feel immense pressure or less pressure to cover certain material, or even, just to be able to slow down and really cover to give those students the help and support they need in the time they need it. Like, we don't have time like that just to be like, yeah, we're going to take an extra year doing this project. You do it and it's over and that's it. It's done or it's not, and the kids are gone. That's so different from so much in life. I feel like a lot of the big tech companies have the finish it no matter what. I know enough friends at Google and Apple that are like, the deadline is here and I'm working 16-hour days because it's not going to get finished otherwise. They just don't move those deadlines from what I can tell. So maybe that's closer to education, or maybe it's just my educator friends are like, the deadline's the deadline and there's no moving the deadline. Maybe it's connected to, I don't know, whatever, the quarterly reporting or something. I'm not in the corporate America world We used to write punk rock songs about corporate America. So I don't know. I don't know how that analogy plays out. But yeah, imagine a world where we could just like add a year and a half to the grade level you're teaching to cover all the things. Like, you'd have time to cover all the things. What if we did that? Instead of 12 grades, we just like renamed them like blue tier, and blue tier is a year and a half and it's 4th grade. We'd have to decide what to teach less of, but I don't know. Like, when I was in the classroom full time, we couldn't cover all of the California content standards. No way. I actually came close to it when I switched to project-based learning, and we're writing a song about a social studies concept. And as we're writing the song, we're having to talk about grammar and rhyming, because then I'm teaching English and social studies and music all at once. But unless you do like that, find a project where you can teach 3 lessons at once for every lesson, every part of the day, like, there's no hope in covering all of the things in California, at least. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's a resolution with it. But do you wonder these things sometimes when you were driving, when you're out in the world? Like, what would what would a teacher do in this scenario? What if a teacher had their own pizza place? How do we do things? Hi, welcome. Do we have a little greeting? Where's your exit ticket before you leave? Does everybody get their own little pocket chart with their classroom job when you come to pick up your pizza? I don't know. It almost feels like I'm teasing. I'm not. Like, I'm thinking of what how I would run a pizza place to make it kind of more inviting and more teachery. I don't know. I don't know if it's like applying like the teacher brain to other parts in life, or just contrasting just how different other jobs and roles and parts of life are from school that's so like tightly timed out, every minute of every day. It's interesting. It's also like a good reminder that we ask a lot of kids at school to switch so quickly from one thing to another, and to expect them to be so just like excited and engaged in the new activity because it's the top of the hour. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask of kids. And I feel like we don't stop and recognize that enough. So yeah, maybe we can all stop and recognize that with our kids. And that's my thought. Next time you think of a roundabout, I hope you think of Darth Vader. Thanks for listening. My name has been Bill Selak. My name still is Bill Selak. This is me talking.